Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Chainlink and do an update on this amazing bull run it's been on since the end of the last bull market in early 2018. If you guys like the content, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Let's go ahead and jump in. So this is a chart we present on the channel quite frequently. It's the LINK Bitcoin valuation on a logarithmic scale, color-coded by the risk metric, which goes from blue to red, numerically 0 to 1. Historically, blue is low risk and red high risk, meaning coming in when the market is down for LINK against Bitcoin historically works out really well, and then the reverse is also true, right? We use this metric to help inform us at the last local peak last summer. It worked out really well. And then a month or two ago, we came on the channel and said, you know what, we're at these levels for the first time since late summer of 2018, but it's probably a decent time to buy if history is any indication. This is not financial advice. This is just looking at the data. You don't buy into the greed. You buy into the fear. You buy the fear. You sell the greed. Okay. So it's been an amazing run for LINK, right? We've had several of these bubbles against Bitcoin. This one, we had not seen it go down to this risk level since way back over here. If we take the color out and plot risk on the secondary y-axis, you can see that for a while we were following this risk metric and our reaccumulation phase just stayed in this region. And we kept bouncing back out, right? And then this one has fallen below. We did not go back to that level. The last time we were here was all the way back in, again, late summer of 2018. So we said, okay, this seems to be a decent time. Now, at the time, LINK USD was around $8 or $9. Now it's over $26. So it's been a pretty good ROI in terms of USD valuation. But we're better than that because we also want to compare it to Bitcoin. And you can see that it has gone up against Bitcoin since the time we made that video on historically this being a good time to get back into Chainlink. So the risk on it is still relatively low according to prior moves. But what we always said back then is we do not know how Chainlink will behave in a Bitcoin bull market. We know how it behaves in a bear market. We know how it behaves in an accumulation phase. But we did not know how it would fare against a bullish Bitcoin, because it's hard to keep up with Bitcoin when it moves, as we've seen the case with the rest of the market. When Bitcoin volatility calms down, then a lot of altcoins will play catch up. But when Bitcoin's moving, it's hard for other coins to find much traction. We can also look at the LINK USD risk level and note that there have been 3 fairly noticeable peaks that helped us identify that we were getting close to a local top. In the same way, though, we have not been down to these levels in a long time. If we plot it on the secondary y-axis, you can see that the risk, for me, I've talked about this before, I only buy LINK when the LINK Bitcoin risk is below 0.65 and the LINK USD risk is below 0.5. And we reached that level a few times over the last few months. And this is why I came on the show and said, you know what, guys, we're at these levels. Yes, it's scary for people who bought at $20, but at the time you were basically buying into greed. And over here you buy into fear, and then you reap the rewards later. When you buy at tops, you're buying into greed, and that historically does not tend to work out. It's just what, if history is an indication, it does not work out. If you're wondering about now, we're sort of in this intermediate phase. Certainly a risk level of between 0.6 and 0.7 is not, it's not like it's all the way up here above 0.8 or 0.9 where we're having this macroscopic blow off top, but it's also not like you're buying into fear, right? I mean, it's up 3x in a month or two. So you're not necessarily buying into fear, but at least you're not coming in, if you are buying LINK, at least you're not coming in at a manic time for Chainlink. Of course, for Bitcoin and some other coins, it is a crazy time. One of the things we've discussed is that the last 2 major peaks for LINK occurred in the summer. So the summer of 2019 and then the summer of 2020. A lot of times LINK will just simply not do anything spectacular against Bitcoin until Bitcoin stops moving. And right now, Bitcoin is still back in price discovery mode. On any given day, LINK can do well and play catch up a little bit. But if you want to see LINK go back to, say, these the LINK Bitcoin risk of, say, between 0.9 and 1, we have to see Bitcoin calm down for a few months, right? Otherwise, it's just likely not going to happen. It's not to say that it can't happen. If we had some macroscopic blow off top and every altcoin was going up like, 100% per week, then yes, maybe Link could catch a ride. But the reason we hold Link is because it tends to offset negative Bitcoin volatility. It improves your Sharpe ratio. It improves your risk-adjusted returns, because days when Bitcoin is down, a lot of times Link can be up. When Bitcoin's not doing much of anything, that's when Link is doing well. Link single-handedly helped propped up our portfolios in the bear market because it was up more than 10x from its prior all-time high. And most altcoins are nowhere close to being up 10x from their prior all-time high. And most altcoins aren't even at their prior all-time highs. So Link has stood the test of time. Now, we've showed this before. This is the Link Bitcoin valuation on a linear scale versus days since inception. We identified what we called non-bubble data against Bitcoin, did an exponential fit, a dubious exponential fit that likely will not stand the test of time. And we fit it, applied a tolerance band, and here it is on a log scale. So log scale, and then days is a linear scale. And we identified, we were able to use this to identify accumulation phases, and then each of these little bubbles that Link did against Bitcoin over the last year or two. However, recently we've had a Bitcoin bubble against Link, and we came out on the other side of this fit. We are not saying, we're not implying that we'll get back into the fit and continue up higher. That would be a tall order. The only way I could see that happening in the short term to go, say, all the way back up here is if somehow Bitcoin volatility just calms down immensely. And I don't know that there's any sign that that's necessarily going to happen. I think it's going to be a long grind. It's possible that we don't make it back into this band and back up into this region. It's possible, but that doesn't mean that Link won't still perform well. You have to remember, this is a log scale. This is an exponential fit. It's a tall order to stay on pace with it. We are going to continue to present it because we stayed on track with it for such a long period of time. And we just want to give it the opportunity to say, you know what? In the same way that Link can experience bubbles against Bitcoin, maybe Bitcoin can experience bubbles against Link. I will take this moment to remind you that we have the premium list, Altcoin season sale. If you guys want to sign up, check out the link below in the description below, and you can sign up for the Altcoin season sale. You can lock in the lower rate. You get access to the weekly reports, the weekly premium videos, the Telegram alerts channel, the Telegram chat room, the risk dashboard, and more. So check it out if you want to lock in the lower rate. And you also get access to some of these TradingView indicators that you see. These are not in TradingView, obviously. These are my own custom charts, but a lot of these, like this one, I've put in TradingView for you to use. This is one of my favorite charts that I present. Out of all the charts I present, this is probably the top one, in the top 5 for sure. It shows the normalized ROI of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Link since inception. And you can see that normalized from the beginning when they were launched, Link at its current price, its current ROI, is actually ahead of Ethereum at the same distance. Now, you could argue that, well, Ethereum put in a higher ROI sooner. You could also say, well, it's not fair because maybe you should make this the bottom for Ethereum and shift it. But then at that point, we are somewhat cherry picking data. So what we've done is just go as far back as I can with the data and just say, what's the ROI from that point? So yes, Ethereum had put in a higher ROI in a shorter period of time, but it was in a crypto bull market. And you could say, well, it's not fair because Ethereum was in a bear market here. But Link has experienced a bear market for the last couple years. For at least it experienced a Bitcoin bear market before Bitcoin entered its bull market, and it did not stop it from continuing to climb. So with that said, let's see how high it can go. Now, everyone likes to give Bitcoin, and by the way, I'm a huge Ethereum bull. I own a lot of Ethereum. For full disclosure, I own more Ethereum than I do Chainlink. But I expect good things from Chainlink, right? I want to see it continue to perform. Chainlink is just it's slightly, I think it's riskier than Ethereum, and based on just say like market capitalization and people generally accepting it. But if you want to experience maybe a theoretical higher ROI, then you have to go after riskier coins. And if you experience that higher ROI, you paid for it with more units of risk. If you don't, it was the risk you took and it didn't pay off, right? There's no luck involved. You calculate the risk. You say, is it worth it or is it not? A lot of coins it's not worth it. A lot of coins it might be. And then if you experience the nice ROI, it was never luck. You paid for it with units of risk. And so it's still continuing to climb. Now, a lot of people give Bitcoin flack for not necessarily putting in as high of returns as a lot of other altcoins. But if you look at the chart, there's not a whole lot of anything that can stand up against Bitcoin when you normalize it from inception. If Link had an ROI since inception at the same time as Bitcoin did at this point since inception, Link's valuation would be 2 orders of magnitude higher. Now, of course, it's not a fair comparison because the market cap of Bitcoin back over here was much lower than the market cap of Link over here. So, it was a lot easier to move the price. But just to give you an idea of how crazy things were, the ROI that people had up here that bought over here for Link, that would correspond to potentially being at over $2,000 Link today. So that's why Bitcoin is the king. Yes, Link is putting in good returns today, but if it were keeping up with what Bitcoin did at the time, it would be up 2 orders of magnitude more than it currently is, just to give you some perspective. This shows the same chart, but on a log scale. I think it's just interesting to look at it when you put days on a log scale as well. And so what we're hoping for is we're hoping for Link to continue climbing this curve, probably not ever going to necessarily reach Bitcoin, but let's see where it takes us. Now, these are the final 2 charts. This shows the price of Link, color-coded by whether Bitcoin is above its 20-week moving average or below its 20-week moving average. You can see that Link goes exponential against USD when Bitcoin's above its 20-week moving average. This is the first time in history that Link, after going exponential, it drops down, but it continued to climb because Bitcoin did not drop below the 20-week moving average. So Bitcoin has held the 20-week moving average for a long time in the past, but never since Link has been around. You can see that Link was launched at the end of 2017. And then finally, we have our Link Bitcoin valuation chart based on whether Bitcoin is above or below its 20-week moving average. And you can see it doesn't really make a whole lot of difference, right? It just seems to trend up no matter what's going on. Recently, it capitulated against Bitcoin. It's coming down right now. But again, it's because Bitcoin's in price discovery mode. And like any other altcoin, when Bitcoin volatility is through the roof, to the upside especially, and to the downside for most coins, those coins will likely bleed against Bitcoin. But it doesn't mean that whenever Bitcoin volatility comes down, doesn't mean they can't pick up right where they left off and continue higher. It's kind of like where Bitcoin peaked on January 8th at 42K. Over the next month, Link essentially, in January, Link went up like 3x or something. And now Bitcoin volatility is through the roof again. You can see the Link Bitcoin valuation has come back down. Whenever Bitcoin volatility cools off, I would expect this to continue higher. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. Remember, we have the premium list, Altcoin season sale. You can find a link to that in the description below. Make sure you sign up for that before the prices go up. Also, join the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below, and click the bell icon if you want to be notified of future videos. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll continue to do the link updates every few weeks. Make sure you subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye.